Hello everyone, and welcome to the first speed build for the custom world that I am currently building. We are going to be working on the first subway station, so it was a little bit experimental with this. I had been thinking for a while that I wanted it to be incorporated into this barn in some way or another. So I went ahead and plopped a lot underneath the barn, that way I could build on it, and thought I would try to make like an extension onto this barn to kind of make it look like it belonged. Kind of like just like a, not really a lean-to on the barn, but kind of similar, but you'll see when I get it done. I did try to make the roof as similar to the barn as I could, but unfortunately the objects that you have in the creator world, or it's even in the buildings that you can place down in the game itself, don't always necessarily match texture wise to the game or the objects that you can use. So I matched the roof as much as I could. Unfortunately, it's still not exact, but I think it's pretty close. It just kind of looks more like maybe a section of the barn that got added on later than the this portion here. Like maybe this is a little bit newer, I guess, is kind of how I'm looking at it. So as you can see, I do mess with this quite a bit. I don't have it sped up too much because speeding it up too much, as you can see, the video is already pretty short as it is. Right around 7 minutes, so I didn't speed it up too much, but as you can see, I do mess with this quite a bit, and I have tested it. Now I couldn't test it until I got more subways in the world, so I do have, since I built this one, I do have a total of 3 subways done. So those speed builds will be coming out here pretty soon. Those will be also on Fridays. Those are the days that the actual speed builds will be posted. So here I am still working on this roof. I was really struggling. I was trying to get it to match even in style wise to the barn, but honestly I just was not, I don't know, I just wasn't getting it figured out. I didn't really want to mess too long on it either. I was already spending more than a long enough as it is. So I went ahead and stopped the recording for a little bit so I could just sit there and mess with the roofing. And so this is pretty much the roof style I ended up sticking with and I stayed with. So this is what it's going to end up looking like, and even the color. So it does look like, for the most part of the barn. You really wouldn't think it's the subway station, you know, when you're just kind of in the world. It doesn't really look like the subway station, but it does serve its purpose. It does work real well, and I was super excited when I was testing it with the other subway stations that I have already created. I was super excited that my sim actually chose to hop into this subway station here and then went to the subway station on her own, the one that she wanted. That was the closest to the lot that I had her currently staying on, and she made it home. Like, I didn't have to direct her or anything. I was just super excited about that. I wasn't sure how it was going to work because I honestly don't really play in Bridgeport that has the subway station, so I've never really used them. So I was pretty much flipping for joy when she took off through the yard and into the barn here to get into that subway station. So you could imagine my excitement. So I just went ahead and put tiny little windows at the top because I didn't want too much in the way of windows that could really see in, because you don't really want to be able to see the subway. It just isn't going to look very good. So I do try to conceal and hide the subways as much as I can. You will see in the other 2 builds that will be coming out here pretty soon in the next few weeks how I am trying to help disguise these subways. That way they don't look out of place in this world. So I'm trying to get the white of this door to match as close to the color of the white of the barn doors that are on it, just to try to make it look, you know, as close as I could to the existing barn. So I'm now trying to add the lights in here. That way I can try to get them to match what's already there. But as you can see, that one just was not wanting to go into the wall very well to look like the others. So I just went ahead with this other lantern here that's also with a candle, and went ahead and used that just to help light it up a little bit. And then I do put some lights inside the little building here. That way your Sims aren't completely in the dark when they're inside, just to try to help that out. And I of course I do put a floor in because I don't want the Sims throwing a fit because there's no floor. So I put kind of like an old, I was hoping anyway it would look kind of like an old rickety floor, something that would have a lot of wear and tear on it. So that's kind of the color and design I end up going with. It does take me a little while to finally figure out how I want to do this. It has been a while since I have built in the game, so some of the stuff I don't remember 100% on where everything is, but I do get there eventually in the end. So this speed build for this subway station is getting pretty close to the end. There's just a little bit more landscaping that I end up putting in here just to try to help incorporate it a little bit with the area that it's sitting in, you know, like it's part of the barn, and like maybe whoever owns this barn just has some stuff sitting out, and of course covered in weeds because I do throw in a whole bunch more weeds. So to try to help fill the area in, most of this world, at least out here in the countryside anyway, I want it to look kind of overgrown, and I want it to look a little bit, you know, just wild and crazy, I guess, when it comes to the plants. Like no real rhyme or reason to them. So I do kind of throw in a little bit of that. So here I am trying to figure out what I want to use. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, that bulrush is actually a really big plant. I didn't realize. When you're in the world editor, it doesn't seem that big when I'm putting it up next to the rocks and everything. But when I try to put it out here, I thought, yeah, that's a little bit too big. So I hope you enjoyed this first video, even though it's really short, showing the construction of this first subway station. I'll leave any comments, suggestions down below, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.